Hey nerds, Farmer Jesse here. So in continuation of our no-till farm tour series today, we are hanging out once more with no-till farming legends Jay and Polly Armour of Four Winds Farm in Gardner, New York. But this round is the story of how they started a CSA, where customers effectively subscribe to a farm and receive weekly produce, and turned that into a sort of farmer incubator program, which also helps them make the most use of their land. It's a very interesting story and idea. Now, if you appreciate these videos, please consider picking up a copy of the Living Soil Handbook from no-tillgrowers.com, specifically where the proceeds go into making you more videos like this. And that book also dives deep into the nitty-gritty details of how systems like Jay and Polly's work. Or you can always support us by joining our Patreon page at patreon.com/no-tillgrowers. That support goes to things like sending my partner at no-tillgrowers.com, Jackson Roulette, up to film some of the best no-till farms in the country and create free nerdy content like this. So thanks. So let's get to it with one more video from Jay and Polly Armour of Four Winds Farm.
It started kind of by accident. Our business model has not remained static over the years. As I mentioned, we started doing farmers markets, and they were so-so. And then we switched over to a CSA,
we were barely making any money at the market, and we knew about CSAs, but most CSAs were 200 people, and there was no way we could grow enough food for 200 families, and we weren't thinking that way.
There were not many CSAs in the country at this point, and the ones that we knew about were, ginormous ones.
And then I bumped into a friend that I see, like maybe once a year, and his mom does a lot of gardening. And so I saw him one year and I said, "So how's your mom?" And he said, "She's starting a CSA." And I thought, "Your mom's starting a CSA?" And
he like said, a postage stamp size garden.
For 5 people. And that's when it struck me that you didn't have to do a CSA for 300 people or whatever. And so we figured out that if we got 20 people to sign up for a CSA, we would make more money than we were doing at the farmers markets, and we wouldn't be running around.
We set a goal for 20 shares, and if we had sold 10 of them, we would do it. Otherwise, we'd refund everybody's money and keep going to farmers markets. And this is when CSAs were a very new concept in the area. So at the beginning, we had barely 10, and so we decided give it a go. And within a month, we had sold all 20, and it worked really, really well for us. Having people come to the farm and pick up, we didn't have to get stuff to market. We knew what we were picking and who we were picking for, and so forth. And our CSA grew from 20 people that first year, eventually up to 70 or 80 plus a winter share, that we were doing a 5-month winter share. But what also happened at that time is that many, many other farms transitioned into CSAs, and this area was not as built up. The population of folks who could handle a CSA share was not growing anywhere near as quickly as the number of CSA shares that were available. So there
were like 5 CSAs in
between here and New
Gardner,
Paltz, which is 8 miles away. When we started out, we were the second CSA in Ulster County. And so around this time, we started selling seedlings and having our seedling sale, and that was wildly successful. And we also started to go to farmers markets again, and farmers markets had reincarnated. They were much better run, there was a greater selection, and there were many more customers in the area who were interested in purchasing local food directly from a farmer. And so we were doing 3 farmers markets, plus a CSA, plus a seedling sale, plus we were raising beef, and we still had sheep and so forth, and we were burning ourselves out. And we switched to keeping the CSA just during the week because our farmers markets were all on the weekends.
Yeah, so the CSA was our
midweek market in effect.
Because you pick beans, you got to pick them twice a week.
Yeah,
or
so
other things too.
that
So,
also helped because the CSA gave us a plug of cash in the early part of the season, literal seed money. But then
the seedling
sale became effective enough. It had grown to the point where we got that plug of cash from that. We also started going to a Wednesday market in Woodstock, which
so we
took
didn't
care
need
of
the midweek.
our midweek vegetable disposal problem. So we didn't really need the CSA anymore, but we were stuck with all these wonderful customers that had been our customers forever, were enthusiastic and supportive, loved our produce, we loved them. How do we not do the CSA but still help and serve these folks? And
Well, I kept saying,
I don't want to do this CSA anymore.
I don't know why we do this
Why
CSA.
do
We don't need the CSA anymore.
We don't need it. And Sam and Aaron, who now run Long Season Farm, said they had been working for us as our staff. Said, well, how about we take it over? And thus began.
I said, great, come up with a plan and a name.
And they said Second Wind CSA because it sounded sort of like like a retirement community, Second Wind CSA at Four Winds Farm, but it sort of was a retirement. We got to retire from the CSA, but we kept the CSA here and we kept the customers. And Sam and Aaron had a turnkey operation because it was established business model, established customer base, established equipment, procedures, all that sort of thing. They just took it over and they ran it for a couple of years, and then they found their own place, which is over on the other side of the mountain that you can't see behind the smoke. And then Wes and Bryn followed them, and they had worked for us for a couple of years, and then they followed in Sam and Aaron's footsteps and took over the CSA and ran it for a couple of years.
And they have their own
place. And then who came after that? Lydia?
No, the Allisons.
The Allisons, yes. We had
Two Allisons.
Two women, young women, Allison and Allison, who were not related at all, except had the same first name. They took it over, and Allie is now working
for Sam and Aaron.
And then after them came Lydia, who took it over, and I'm not sure. Lydia is traveling all around. She's
I think she's back in Missouri now.
And then just a couple of years ago, we let the CSA go completely, and now we have Wood Thrush Farm here, using part of our property. We've known Kevin and Laurel for a number of years, and they've been farming down in Orange County, but a number of reasons that wasn't sustainable anymore. That farm was in a generational transition, and also it's right where a lot of giant warehouse distribution centers are going in. So even though the farm itself is on protected land, all around it is just tractor trailers, constant beep,
noise.
Beep, beep of the tractor trailers backing up and so forth. And so they came up here, and they've been farming here. They're part of the reason we have so many of these caterpillar tunnels is because they use them pretty regularly. They sell greens in New York City.
Their markets start up in April 1st.
Yeah, and so they grow a lot of microgreens and vegetables like that they sell at the green markets in New York City. So that's been a great cooperation. We're really, really glad to have them here. It was informal for most of the first years because we were, it's people who had been working here, and it was an easy transition because they just kind of started the running of what we were doing. As we moved from the CSA from people who had worked for us to people who had not yet worked for us, we needed to get things down on paper. So we did have a formal lease. And do we have a formal lease with Kevin and Laurel? I know we have Do we have a paper lease with them?
We might.
Okay. Yeah, we have a good relationship with them. You can probably figure that out. So yeah, we've had both.
The first year, you know, Kevin kept asking for something, and I said, well, we'll get to it. We'll get to it.
Yeah.
And so the second year, I think I did write something down.
Yeah.
This is their third year now. So just a general word as to why it's advantageous to us to have them here. We've got 4 acres under cultivation. We're growing on 2.5 acres. We don't really need that other 1.5 acres for growing vegetables, but we do need it for our rotation. So like our big cash crop is tomatoes. We grow 35 to 40 different kinds of heirloom tomatoes, and they're really popular at the market. So it's pretty neat because you think of, first off, an heirloom tomato tastes much better than a lot of the regular tomato. Yeah. And you put it in a no-till environment, all our vegetables taste better to begin with because the soil is healthier. And you take a really good tasting tomato, you grow it in a no-till environment, and it's
orders
fabulous.
Of magnitude better.
Yeah. And it sells really well. And so if you're, you know, the reason for you getting into farming is to make money, it's an easy way to make money because
it sells.
Taste sells.
If you have the market. Yeah.
We need that 4 acres to rotate the tomatoes effectively. So we do a 3-year rotation with the tomatoes. Right now all our tomatoes are in a section over there. Next year they're going to go over here. Well, half of this land here is being used by wood thrush. If they weren't here, we wouldn't be using that land at all. So how do we keep that land available for production for next year when we don't need it this year? The answer is have somebody else use it this year and keep the weeds out and keep the process going.
We could put it in cover crops and things. We could. And we've talked about that, you know, but I like having it being used appropriately. You know, it's that Spanish term aprovecho, meaning to make best use of, and that's what I think we're doing here.
Yeah, and it doesn't really need to rest if you're constantly adding fertility to it.
Not tilling it for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, that in a sense is the rest. You know, you're not driving it, so it needs to rest.
All right, I hope you enjoyed the Jay and Polly series as much as I did. And if so, like this video if you like this video. If you are not subscribed to this channel, make sure to hit the subscribe button. And if you are subscribed, you're awesome. Like I said in the beginning, you can always support more videos like this, as well as the videos that I make, by going to no-tillgrowers.com and picking up a copy of the Living Soil Handbook, or a hat. That truly just goes to making more videos. And also patreon.com/no-tillgrowers, or hit that super thanks button. That works too. Super thanks for watching. We'll see you later. I see you. Bye. You just can't make it through one video.
I can share with you.